Hi everyone, this is Susan Stewart with Perfectly Placed, and I'm about to share with you my personal home makeover on our garage. So I did this makeover for two reasons. The first is my husband and I do a lot of DIY home improvement projects, and we were getting more and more tools, and we were kind of outgrowing our tool storage, as well as my product storage for clients. And then the biggest reason why I did it is because it matters to me how I feel when I come home at the end of the day. And as I drove in my garage every night, just the aesthetics of it really did not make me feel good. The drywall had not been completed properly. It wasn't painted, and there was some kind of splatter on the wall that looked a bit like a crime scene. So here we go. Here's the inside. So the first step in the process was to do the planning, of course. So my garage was already organized, but if your garage isn't organized, what you're gonna wanna do is group like items together. So this is the sorting process. And by sorting, you're gonna be able to tell what things you're gonna need to store. So you're gonna sort first, then you're gonna do your purging. That's when you get rid of all the stuff you no longer need, all those extra duplicates, all the stuff that just has congregated in the garage for long periods of time, and clean out the cobwebs and all that kind of stuff. Once that's done, you can start planning. So one of the first things you'll notice while looking at the walls is that we had to mud and tape, which was not something we had done before. All the mud and taping was peeling off, and it had not been done correctly and was not finished. We had never done that before. My husband watched some YouTube videos. It wasn't perfect, but hey, the garage is a great place to learn. So he had to peel off all the old mud and tape and do new mud and tape. And then this wall was not even drywalled at all. So after he added the electrical, he drywalled for the first time. And then everything needed to be painted, of course. And we added some finishing trim in the corners and up at the top. But boy, what a difference that can make to the feel of the garage. I knew I needed more storage for our tools and also for my supplies. And I also knew that I was going to repurpose some of the hanging things for tools that I already had, but I was going to add some Elfa. So let's take a look at what we did. So this is my tool area. What I had before didn't work because it wasn't big enough, but also the cabinets opened and would run into my car that would be parked here. These are shallower, and there's enough room to open them even when my car is parked here. So we've got all of the categories, everything is labeled, all of the little tiny hardware is detailed inside with individual labels. So we can find exactly what we need very quickly. Another situation was there was no electrical on this wall. So there was only one plug in the entire garage, and this wall happened to be unfinished. And I knew that I was going to make this storage situation here, and I wanted to be able to plug in the drill situation, the chargers for the drills over here. So one of the things that we did, well, my husband did, before we drywalled, was added electrical. Now, I'm going to tell you a couple of things. My husband had done very little electrical before we did this project, and neither of us had ever done drywall before. YouTube videos, they tell you everything. So because I already had my design plan for the tools, I could tell exactly where I wanted the electrical. So we placed those out. My husband looked on YouTube, and we found out that the electrical up here for the garage door opener, we could jump off of that, and we used this conduit pipe thing and ran the electrical down here before we put the drywall on. So that was just an awesome, awesome addition for us to have this so we can charge those tools. Another thing about this storage situation, as you'll see in the before pictures, that I did have a pegboard situation with tools on there before. This one is a lot bigger, and it's also got storage going up top. So we've got the addition of these two shelves. I used some matching bins, great labels, again, just to store more things. My husband added this light, which we just zip tied right to this, and it's motion detector, so that's awesome. So if we're working on a project, it can be lit up for this. You know, you can add all kinds of hooks and different things on the Elfa thing. I love these little accessory trays here. And then we also moved our vacuum over here, which is less out of the way, and just makes more sense to have it by the mops and brooms as well. Okay, now for the storage for my supplies. This added so much more storage than I had before, which is great. And surprisingly, it actually comes out not as deep as the other storage did, which just gives my husband a couple more inches for parking, which is super helpful. So I just love having all of this so I can fill my car with bins of supplies. We also left a shelf off of here so that we could park the mower. We've got all our auto supplies and the lawn care supplies and car washing and so forth over there as well. When we placed these back on the shelf after we did the drywall and the painting, we measured exactly where my husband's car door opens. Right here, so you can see the little nicks. That's where he opens the car, so that he's not running into the tools. So that was very strategic to place those up high and not be running into tools there. On this side, we've got carts and step stools and sports and that kind of thing. And then we also planned to leave a space for this drop-down work table. This was one of the things I did at the end of the project, but we had already planned and made a space for it when we started the project. So we watched a YouTube video on this. And now when we do a project, we've got kind of an L shape here, and we've got plenty of space to spread out. But then I can just fold it up, put it away, and still park my car here, which is really helpful. So you can see how planning is a big, big part of this transformation. So after we drywalled, after we added electrical, and we drywalled, and then we painted, one of the last steps we did was we painted the floor. That was also a process that we looked online. We had to clean the floor. We had to add some an acid wash to rough it up, and then we used a certain kind of paint that's made for that. And then something we learned about drywalling in garages is that drywall should never touch the cement part of the garage. And the reason for that is because of moisture issues. So if the drywall is touching the cement and you get water, it's going to go up your drywall and cause problems. So one of the things that happened with that is that you have this little gap. You might be able to see that in the before pictures, that there's a little gap. And you know, it wasn't horrible, it is a garage, but I'm kind of a perfectionist, and so I wanted to figure out a solution to hide that. So we used rubber trim. It's something you see in commercial spaces a lot, and we installed it with adhesive, and it just gives a really nice finished look. And I gotta tell you that now when I drive up at the end of the day after having a hard work day, I drive into my dream garage and I feel like $1 million. Thanks for watching, and I hope that we inspired you to do a garage project in your garage. If you're looking for the exact products we used in this video, you can look in the description right below the video and find the links to those products.